Right, we are
cooking on gas.
people.
Keep an eye on who's going on. There we go.
Yeah, we should be coming through on
Instagram.
soon, I hope. Is there a delay?
Have a little look.
Technical
hitch.
Ah, a few people. I love hug food.
Right, we're just having a little technical glitch on the Instagram hookup. Are we ready to rock?
Well, we might just have to, we are live, we might just have to...
Yeah, we'll wait for that to catch up. We can't see any questions.
Any comments on
comments. Shout your questions and comments.
Yeah.
Or we'll check up, we'll answer later once you finish, but that's a bit annoying, isn't it? We're okay with our other...
Yeah,
Wonderful.
we can see. So we'll get started and
thank you for joining us anyway.
couple of minutes and let other people join in. But yeah, hopefully. Sorry if you're right on Instagram and
yes, but we will answer. We will answer afterwards.
Let me
see if we can do it on a slightly different. Okay. As if I know what I'm talking about here. Who knows?
Retro Slim 39. I love the new packaging.
Oh yes,
well,
this is sneak preview. How about that? Right, are we ready?
Yeah, we've got a good few
Wonderful,
people. So
wonderful. Good evening. We are preparing for Valentine's Day. So, and you know, forget hubby. I prefer to do Valentine's Day with our little doggies, and they're both here waiting patiently for their Valentine's tree.
Yeah.
We've even decorated the kitchen with Valentine hearts candles. I'll have to find some matches there. So what we're going to do today is make a lasagna for dogs. So we're going to use our lovely beef mince, and obviously you can make your lasagna with chicken, you can make it with lamb, whatever you want, but we're going to go with beef. So I'm going to get this turned on. Oh, is that on? Yes, beautiful.
So obviously we're using the hug mince, which is a nice complete food, so it's got veggies and everything like that in. If you're just wanting to use any old mince, then you can be creative and add in sort of the extra veggies that we've already included, sort of any dog-friendly veggies that you want to add in, then that's perfect.
Don't forget to rinse your packaging out and recycle.
Yeah, and save the lids and send them back to us.
Right, now we are making a big lasagna today, not just because I've got a big dog to feed, but also because we are doing a little visit to London with our four-legged foodie friends on Sunday, and we are cooking up a storm on a little Valentine's day, I guess, at Romeo and Juliet Cafe, very aptly named for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, so we're doing a doggy first dates. So you'll have to keep an eye on Instagram, and I think tickets are all sold out now, sadly. But yeah, we're doing 3-course dinner for the pup. So we're doing bone broths for starters, lasagna for main, and then followed by the dessert, which we're covering today, which is doggy chocolate plum and strawberries, while we're doing Carob. But yeah, so it's going to be great.
So we are literally, as you would if you were making your own lasagna, we are just frying off that. We're using beef, frying off the beef mince. So it's sort of in keeping with the red dots, I thought, for Valentine's Day as well. You know, we had to go with beef because of that. So that's fabulous.
Yeah. And then all we're going to do with the courgette is slice it, so we're sort of mimicking
it's courgette lasagna, isn't it? So the lasagna sheets are actually going to be made from courgettes. Because, as we all know, a lot of dogs don't tolerate wheat, obviously, but also dogs don't use the carbs like we do. So whereas we would sort of eat a lovely pasta dish, you know, just to sort of try and feel a little bit more full, if we've done really good doing a workout or hard day at work or what have you. Dogs don't need it. They don't need the carbohydrates like that. So very, very cleverly, I felt, we are replacing the courgette, the pasta with courgette.
Yeah, and then it's quite nice because courgette is a really, really good addition in your dog's diet. It's low cholesterol, it's low fat, really low calories. So if you've got a dog that maybe needs to lose a few pounds, then you can always cut up some cooked courgette. And then we often say to use cooked. You can feed it raw, however, in high amounts, then it can cause some tummy issues, so it's just a lot easier to digest.
It's a nicer one cooked, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's just one of those that you wouldn't think yourself, oh, I fancy a bit of raw courgette. It's much better when cooked. So obviously, if you don't want to use courgette, or if you find if your pup is a little bit sensitive to courgette for any reason, then you could use carrot or some cabbage leaves. You could use.
We were also thinking that, you know, obviously our food you can serve raw or you can cook it. If you don't want to go cooked, then actually you could make a raw lasagna,
yeah,
couldn't you? But as we said, you wouldn't want to use your courgette probably as your lasagna sheet. What would be much nicer is to use perhaps carrot. You know, sort of almost take the potato peeler to a carrot.
yeah.
So you've got really nice. Sort of thin layers, and actually you could layer it up and serve it raw. You know, there's absolutely no reason to.
I think for some reason we've ended on Instagram. Let me double check.
What's getting goodness you're here. It's playing up tonight, isn't it? The old Instagram. Now, obviously, because we're going to cook the lasagna anyway, you know, it's just quite nice to brown the mince off. It doesn't matter if it's not cooked all the way through. So we'll just get that browned just a little bit more. And then we're going to do 2 layers of pasta. So it's sort of a layer of our pasta replacement through the middle and a layer of our pasta replacement on the top. Now, you may be thinking, what are we going to use for the cheese sauce topping? And actually, it's an idea that, you know, if you were thinking about your own, you know, if you're dairy intolerant, or if you're lactose intolerant, or if you just want to try and watch the calories a little bit, which I must admit that's top of my mind for me at the moment, is actually we're going to use cottage cheese as our topping. And interestingly, because cottage cheese is fermented, it actually pretty much gets rid of the lactose. And obviously the lactose is what's really an issue for most people and dogs with dairy intolerances. Are we back on Instagram?
Yes, sorry, I think
sorry.
It's going to be a bit disjointed, the video, I think.
But no, so we were just saying, obviously we're layering with our courgette instead of our lasagna, and we were just talking about topping. And you know, and actually we're using a cottage cheese, and I am going to try cottage cheese on our own lasagnas when I make them next.
It browns off really well, and it smells great.
And let's face it, I really get a bit fed up faffing around making like cheese sauces and things, you know, stood over the hob. So I have browned this off. I'm going to turn this off now, and hopefully I've turned it off. Probably, yes I have. So we will create our first layers of lasagna.
So I've got all the
there we go. Now, we didn't actually measure this out to make sure it was going to be appropriate for this size thing, but we're going to aim. We're going to aim to get it right. So, and you know, obviously you can make it with, as I said before, with mince without veg in, or add extra veg of your own if you want to sort of bulk it out a little bit. I must admit that's what I do with our lasagnas when I'm making it for everybody. So there we are. So we've done our first layer. Obviously we haven't put a tomato sauce in with it. We haven't sort of that, but we were talking about that. I'm thinking, well, actually, lots of tomatoes aren't super good for your dog, because the tomato comes from the deadly nightshade family. But actually what you could do, and what we've done in the past, is liquidised steamed carrot and made like a carrot sauce. So if you wanted it to be a little bit more true to form, if you like, you could actually create a really nice carroty liquidised sauce and mix that through your mince first, then layer it up with your courgette.
Yeah.
And that sort of might make it stick together a little bit better. Are you ready?
Yeah, I mean, we found anyway, like, because we're using courgette instead of pasta, so there's nothing really to soak it up. So you don't want to overload with too much sauce, because otherwise it will just
yes, the pasta's not there to
yeah, you know when you
juice,
get like a really cheap lasagna and it's a bit of a sloppy mess. Yeah.
No, I never buy cheap lasagna.
Or do you want to put some of the cottage cheese?
Do you want to put a bit? Well, that's super special. I don't. Well, you could. Put a bit half and half.
Don't know.
I just didn't want it to be a little too wet.
Yeah,
you know, I think a good thick. I'm all for a good thick topping on the top, actually. And we were also thinking that if your dog really can't tolerate dairy, and you didn't want to go down the cottage cheese route, is what else could you top your lasagna off with? And actually, we were looking at, again, potentially a sweet potato that you might steam, mash up, and mix with nutritional yeast.
Yeah, so as a vegan, then I can't have normal cheese. So what you can do, nutritional yeast has sort of a cheesy taste. It's great in B vitamins and everything, so it is fine for your dog as well. A lot of people do use it as nice boosters in meals. So then what you can do is mix that in. You can blend some cooked sweet potato and carrot, use that with the nutritional yeast, and use it as sort of like a roux sauce. Again, you know, you don't need to use too much of that, and that can be a nice alternative if your pup is especially sensitive to dairy. Hopefully they'll be all right with small amounts of cottage cheese. I think it's always worth just trying small amounts first. Don't overload them with a whole wad of
yeah, that's the key, I think,
or
isn't
cream
it?
cheese.
Is, you know, it's just like us. If you're eating something for the first time, the last thing you want to do is absolutely gorge on it, and then obviously it causes issues. So, so we're actually going to make sure we cut this into little tiny slices as well when we take it up to London on Sunday, so that we can just. Did you see I sort of mixed it up in terms of the direction of the courgette as well? You know, who knows? It might make a difference. It might not. You know, we'll have a little look.
So obviously this is a lot of cottage cheese. But
I like
if you
thick topping.
oh yes, yeah. But if you're doing it for like your individual dog, just use like a spoonful or two. You know, just depending on the size of your dog.
Wow, you could also think of this as batch cooking. If you make a decent sized lasagna, as I'm going to do, we're going to cut it up. Once it's cooled, we're going to cut it up into portions. And then, of course, what you do is you can freeze those portions. And actually, to be honest, this will probably end up on somebody else's dinner plate as well. James's, my oldest son's favourite dinner is lasagna. And I can imagine if it's in the freezer, wrapped up, labelled lasagna, he'll come in from work, heat it up and eat it. And you know, let's face it, I'll be eating it shortly. You know, we do use beautiful fresh beef in our beef recipe, so it actually would do him an awful lot of good.
Yeah.
You know, we manage the fat, we manage. It's got the
nice
veg in there as well.
grill.
Yes, now that would be great because he's really into his fitness as well. So so that would be super.
So I'm just covering it all over, just like a normal lasagna.
We're going to be a bit mean and not put any grated cheese on. I mean, this is up to you. If you wanted to be extra special and sort of zhuzh it up a bit with
your
the
dog's
grated
partial
cheese,
to a bit of cheese,
then you could also still top that up with grated cheese. I think also, you could go down the goat's cheese route, couldn't you? You know, if you're worried about overloading in terms of dairy and things like that. So so there's lots to play with, and again, you know, just think of it as you would yourself, you know. So
the sound's not working.
oh no, oh no. Is the sound still not working? What I'm saying is the sound still not working?
Well, if anybody can hear on Instagram, then what we'll be doing is we will be putting the video and everything on YouTube and everything, and on our Facebook
we can
page.
put a message, can't we?
Yeah, we'll put a message. So we shall.
I'm so sorry.
check on
Instagram's
them.
not playing ball, is it tonight?
Yeah. So
Right.
it's all done.
Okay, so that's it. Finished. Now, in good Blue Peter style, we have made one earlier. So I'm just going to pop this one in the oven, not trip over the dog. Pop this in the oven. And
Turn this a little bit.
I'm just going to, please excuse my dreadfully dirty gloves. They're busy full of food. So here is the lasagna that we made just earlier. Okay, so what you find is when you cut it, where did I do that plate? You've got, it does actually stick together. How big a piece do you think? That sort of
Yeah.
width. The courgette is cooked nicely through, so it's easy to cut through. I've got 2 dogs. I've got, oh, you're waiting, are you, Fletcher? Fletcher was the taste tester when you made it in the week, wasn't he, for the video? Obviously, yes, the recipe is available on video as well, isn't it? So, so there's another option to watch it there. So we'll just cut this up, and we'll do a little spoonful. Right, okay. Let's just cut that down. So you can obviously be, more, as I say, more generous with your cottage cheesy topping. You can really think about sort of how you use your courgette. But there we go. So there is, get a little bit of sauce as well. There is your little courgette lasagna dish. Now, we haven't finished. Let's just surround that with hearts, I think. There we are. Now, what are we going to do for dessert?
We're going to do carob covered strawberries. So normally you think Valentine's Day, you think chocolate covered strawberries, be nice and romantic, and we wanted the dogs to join in the fun. So carob obviously is a dog friendly option. It doesn't have the caffeine or the components in there that we're allergic to. So all we're doing, very, very easy, is mixing some carob with some melted coconut oil. And you mix it all together, and that creates your sauce, and then obviously nice and hardens up as coconut oil does. What you can do, some people don't like to use coconut oil, or if the dog can't have it for any reason.
Again, it's a fat, isn't it? And some dogs just cannot tolerate a heavy fat.
Yeah.
That was you, it's me.
So if your dog's all right with some fats, then you could use melted peanut butter.
We thought that was quite cool, actually, didn't we?
Yeah.
To actually use a peanut butter with, and so it actually becomes almost a Reese's chocolate.
Yeah.
So you've got your peanut butter, your chocolate, and your strawberry. And obviously this is one we did try these earlier, didn't we?
Yes.
And they were delicious, and I just love the smell of carob actually as well. When it warms up with that
the coconut oil makes it really sweet as well.
Maybe that's why I like it.
Yeah. But it is good, and you can share it, and then it just means that if they pinch it off your plate, it's not the end of the world then compared to some dark chocolate, as we've all been there, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing we were talking about was, obviously, when you see the strawberries in a restaurant, they've always got their lovely, they're looking very sort of, designy with their green tops and what have you. And we just thought, well, do you know, is it okay for dogs to eat the green tops of strawberries? That was the other thing we looked into.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an old wives' tale, but I always thought that the green tops of carrots was carcinogenic.
See, I've never
Maybe that's
heard
a
of
Google.
that.
Maybe it's my age. Maybe that's a Google thing.
But it might be with carrot tops. But we did with strawberry top. Obviously, it is fine. High amounts, then it can cause some digestive upset. But again, you shouldn't be feeding too many strawberries because they're very high in sugar. So really nice treat.
So it's up to you,
but and then
chop it off.
Yeah, depending on your size of dog and depending on how they are, if they're a dog that will try and swallow the thing whole, maybe cut it up first. If they're a dog that will take their time and chew it,
yeah, because there is, look at the shape of it, that's very easy to sort of stick in the mouth sort of shape, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so you just want to make sure you just make it appropriate for your size.
We could do halves, actually. We could do halves. So we did think we'd have a little go and just, again, in the office earlier, we thought we'd have a little play. Now, we've sort of got some do's and don'ts. This, went on too warm, didn't it? This went on too warm, went a bit bitty. Yeah. I mean, the dog won't mind, but it doesn't look as aesthetically pleasing, does it? I don't think. And if you leave it to go too hard, then you almost have to smear it on.
Yeah. That was like towards the end of the bowl, and I was like, come on, I've got to use it.
But if you notice, that's really nice and thick. So again, it depends how thick you want your
So I'm going to, do we have a plate to put?
I think we can put it straight on. Yeah. We've got love hearts, specially purchased love heart plate for our Valentines.
I'm gonna
give it a dip and see how's that looking. Oh, that looks pretty. Oh, I reckon that was worth the practice earlier. That looks almost perfect. We did wonder about whether we should go for grease with paper underneath. And the other tip, which we haven't done here, is keep your strawberries in the fridge.
Yeah.
So if you actually, we brought these out, because obviously when you want to taste a strawberry, they need to be room temperature. But if you bring your strawberries straight from the fridge, it actually helps the carob set quicker because your strawberry's super cold. Now obviously, we forgot to put it in the fridge when we got home this evening, so our strawberries, as you can see, that's quite runny. So if we had more time, we'd probably wait for that to thicken up a little bit more, and we'd probably take our strawberries straight from the fridge as well. But I am going to cut one of those strawberries in half, because that maybe is the way to serve the strawberry, perhaps, is cut in half long ways.
There we go. So you've just got to get nice and messy, dump to your heart's content, and then just pop them in the fridge.
And let the dog lick your fingers as well.
Well, yeah, they like it, nice and sweet.
So there we are. And actually, if we cut them in half, they look.
Oh, they do look good.
Really good, don't they? And we've got. Oh, look! What do you want, a strawberry or lasagna?
Caroline Griffith said love this Valentine's treat. You have to give it a go.
Yes, yeah, and we want to see photographs.
Oh yes, yeah.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. So we have our beautiful little courgette lasagna, and we have our lovely carob coated strawberries, and we've got some very patient dogs sitting beautifully down here. You come out to say hello. Hello. Are you waiting nicely? Fletcher's waiting. Ryan's waiting. We'll take a picture to prove they did get their treat.
Yes, yeah, they will be eating it. They've been waiting patiently for their dinner.
Well, my darling, thank you very much. I think any questions, whiz them in. Recipe video is available, and will you do the posty thingy on that?
Yeah.
So that's fabulous.
Yeah.
For those that lost sound on Instagram or lost vision, some might say that was a blessing, I don't know. But we will have a video, we will put it on our YouTube channel, and we can post that link. I sound very technical. We can post that link on the gram, can't we?
Yeah.
So that's fine. Excellent stuff. Right, thank you very, very much. I think we're going to have a glass of wine with our lasagna. I think going forward.
And then do share with people and tag us in your creations if you want to do this on Valentine's Day.
Yes, we'd love to see, and we'd love to see the dogs sat there with their dinner in front of the room. Yeah. That's wonderful. Thank you very, very much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you soon. Take care.